welcome back for another video. A very memorable Game Week 6 behind us for all the right or wrong reasons, depending on if you landed on the right side of what was a very swingy game week. Got some major highs and lows sent in by you all to look at, but let's start with my team. A pretty disastrous start to the wildcard with 38 points all out, blanks from Raya, Trent, Lewis, Gabriel, Diaz, Saka, Wood, and of course Captain Haaland as well. Bumo, Semenyo and Solanke scoring at least, and of course Rodgers on the bench. I think it was just one of those weeks where lots of solid picks underperformed in mass. There's no one here screaming out to be sold really, but you can't help but laugh at a red arrow on the wildcard. I've got 2 pre-transfers, I'll talk about transfer plans later in the video, but let's have a look at some of your highs and lows this week. FPL Argus says, absolute wildcard disaster class, quadrupled my rank from 232k to 922k. And on top of the horrendous blanks, I benched Rodgers for the saddest punt ever in Savio's 10-minute cameo. FPL Johnny says, perfect transfers. Now he took a -8 hit, which involved selling Cannon, Bruno, Son and Jota, which resulted in a net gain of 29 points. Absolutely insane, well played. FPL Horny, with an E, scored a crazy 99 pointer, just 1 point off the century, and he says this took him from 3.1 mil to 365k. Now, this is the sort of game we're all chasing, which can single-handedly change your season in just one weekend. I've just realised I typed his name wrong in my notes, it's FPL Hornet, sorry mate. FPL Madueke says, I might retire. I'm not sure if this is actually his team, but a 5 pointer is almost unbelievable, horrendous luck, including Bruno captain, 5 points. LFC Liam made 3 moves, Vardy, Palmer and Isak to Lewis, Dibbling and Haaland, -29 point swing, that is brutal. I can understand the temptation to get Haaland, especially when you got Isak out, that one's so unlucky. Terry got unfortunate with his bench, he said he was close to playing Smith Rowe instead of Jimenez, and obviously Jimenez scored. He said Howard Bellis was never considered, so that one's okay, but 16 points on his bench. Lastly, Scott, who said the following, I transferred out Salah for Diaz, Salah scores. I brought Raya back in because I stupidly transferred him out on wildcard Game Week 4, Arsenal concede. I brought Trent in for Porro, booked in 6 minutes. Jackson in, 1 assist from 4 goals, 1 million to 5 million rank. Feels like there was more bad than good ones this week, hopefully we get some better ones next week again. Thanks for sending in anyway. Let's get onto my Game Week 7 team and transfer plans. Starting off in goal, and it's Raya, with another home fixture to Southampton. A clean sheet here would go a long way towards a better Game Week with a double defence in my team, especially before they head into some trickier fixtures from Game Week 9. They're top of the clean sheet odds this week, given a 52% chance. Arsenal will take enormous confidence from the 2-0 win over PSG midweek in the Champions League. In typical FPL fashion, they concede twice to Leicester, and then Gabriel and Wright keep a clean sheet against PSG, who hadn't lost all season so far, and of course Saka scores as well. I think Raya and Gabriel could be 2 season keepers, which is always good. There's 2 less positions for me to sweat about every week. Even when they hit that patch of Liverpool, Newcastle and Chelsea, I don't see enough reason to shuffle them out, as I only want to get them back after that, and they can keep a clean sheet against absolutely anyone to be honest. Also in typical FPL fashion, Lewis was sensational in the Champions League, kept a clean sheet, got an assist, 4 chances created, 3 of those big chances, 95% passing accuracy. Pep said after the game, the way Rico's playing, there's no words, he does everything. Now is it just me, or more often than not, is it a bad thing when Pep sings a player's praises, as far as the next game week's prospects anyway? He did play the full 90, Walker was on the bench and he came on at 78 minutes for Vardy. So I do have some doubts where he starts against Fulham, but that was the known risk in picking him to be honest. We might get some early team news whether he does start or not, they play at 3 PM. It wouldn't be the end of the world if he does miss this week, because I've got reasonable bench coverage. Trent plays away at Palace, given a 36% chance of a clean sheet this week. Despite that 1 pointer, he's second only to Gabriel for points among defenders with 33. I need another one of those clean sheet assist bonus type matches from him to make some good ground up. I've got no doubt Liverpool's score here, it's just where do those points come from. I've got Diaz and Trent in my team currently. Salah's actually dropped 0.1 mil, so it seems like many are switching him to Palmer after last game week's haul. Trent's a possible sell this game week, I'll talk more about that in a minute. In midfield, I'm lined up with Saka, Luis Diaz, Bumo, Semenyo and Rodgers. So I'm going with a 3-5-2, so Rodgers is in the starting 11 over Wood, who's got Chelsea away. I couldn't separate them last game, and I ultimately went with Wood, given he is the striker and he's on pens, but I got that one wrong. Well played if he did start Rodgers. I saw Calvert-Lewin in lots of wildcards as well with Rodgers on the bench. He did frustrate everyone with a 1 pointer. It's an easier decision this week, given the 2 fixtures. I'm fully expecting Wood to score on the bench now though. Semenyo was a highlight at the end of last game week. It's just a shame he couldn't clinch any bonus points from the goal. He was very unlucky not to get an assist as well. He squared the ball into the box, and the shot nicked off Uatara on the way in, which meant it was his goal and a Cook assist instead. Maybe it wouldn't have gone in otherwise without the deflection anyway. He's playing at Leicester, and then the fixtures do turn for him. He'll have played out as a really good punt if he does get something in this one as well. I am considering another differential for Gameweek 7 as well, depending on Luis Diaz. I'll be keeping an eye on the Liverpool lineup in the Champions League. Jota's got a rumoured injury, so we could see Darwin up top and Gakpo left wing. A Diaz start here would mean I sell him this week. Though I'm actually considering selling him anyway, as there is a player that's come into my thinking this week, which represents a massive opportunity. More on that in a minute. There's a strong case to be made for Saka captaincy this week. Southampton's left flank is their weaker side. They've conceded 27 chances down there, which is second worst in the league. And by the way, Leicester are worst of 38, which is Semenyo's side as well. Although it's close, I'm leaning towards Haaland captain this week and Saka vice. Haaland's undoubtedly more explosive, which is what you want to be chasing with captaincy. He did come off about 59 minutes in the Champions League. So who's got the highest ceiling? I did some digging whether it's actually true that Saka's more of a steady, consistent stream of points, or if he is a hauler himself. Last season, he actually registered 9 double-digit returns, but nearly all of them were 10 and 12 pointers. We've already seen Haaland score 17 twice this season and 13 points. Saka took 7 shots against Southampton, which was joint highest last game week, along with Palmer and Havertz. Saka's 4 big chances created was also top. Up front, it's Solanke and Haaland. Now, it's been reported this morning that Van Heek's got a significant tear and he's going to be injured for over a month. He was a huge loss in that Chelsea match, and advantage Spurs asset owners this week. They can't afford to play with such a high line again. I'm hoping they will though, as Chelsea were able to rip through them last weekend. I like Johnson and Maddison as well if you're looking for a Spurs midfielder. So Haaland gets the captaincy. The bookies' odds suggest that Saka and Haaland have got the 2 fixtures to target. Arsenal's 3.05 projected goals is top this week, and then it's Man City of 2.65. Chelsea have got 2.25 against Forest if you're considering Palmer. I'm hoping the blank last game puts lots of people off Haaland. FPL can be a very reactionary game, and I'm guilty of that sometimes. I mean, perhaps the Luis Diaz pick was a case of that. But obviously in current form, and obviously those rumours of the virus in the Wolves camp, it felt like it was worth a go as a short-term pick. I'll stick a captain poll up on the channel on Friday morning as always. My bench is Fabianski, Wood, Mikalenko and Greaves. I've got 0.2 mil in the bank, and there's a few ways I can go with my transfers this week. Option 1 is just to roll the transfer and take 3 free transfers into the international break. This makes a lot of sense if Luis Diaz is rested midweek, especially if we get some early team news that he starts, as they do have the early kickoff. I did look at a route to getting Palmer, but I'm not convinced it's worth it. I'd have to sell Trent for a 4.3 mil defender, so the only options I can even find is Totti from Wolves with a Mosquera injury, or I go all the way down to a 4 mil defender like Fass, so I'm going to have to rule Palmer out this week and look to get him in Game Week 12. If Luis Diaz is hypothetically benched, then there's 2 ways I can go. Option 1 is to sell him for Maddison and keep the second free transfer. Option 2 is Foden. Now, he was quality in the Champions League. He got 1 goal, 1 assist, and he came off early. He's not going to sit on the bench forever, and if this is the turning point where he's actually in the team moving forwards, then the upside is massive, and he's only 5.1% owned. 19 goals, 8 assists last season for 230 points. I mean, which players are fully capable of a hat-trick under 10% owned? He scored 2 hat-tricks last season, so it's in his locker. Plus he's got the fixtures. Fulham home, Wolves away, Southampton home, Bournemouth away, Brighton away. Now, I don't have enough money for a straight swap, so to free up the money, I can either go Wood to Stewart or Trent to Pedro Porro. The Wood move does make my bench worse, because then I just have Mikalenko and Greaves every week, but it does let me keep Trent. Whereas Porro gives me a better bench, and when Semenyo's fixtures turn, Wood looks great, so I'm leaning towards the Pedro Porro route. If there's no early team news on Foden, I won't risk it, but I suspect he may get another start having played so well, plus Pep's comments, plus being brought off early. My gut feeling is it's a big opportunity. Let me know what you think. Tomorrow's video will be the experts as we catch up what the top managers in the world are doing this week, so make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. See you soon for the next one.